Welcome to the Two Tunes Podcast.
Welcome in a world where there's two tunes.
Only Two Tunes.
And we're podcasting about it.
I'm Bo.
I'm Brandon.
This is Two Tunes Podcast.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ, stop. You're first.
You know, it's funny, you weren't talking to me.
What?
You were talking to that chord.
When I said, oh my God.
But you said it right after I said that thing. So it's like you were talking to me.
Okay. Whatever. You're lame.
Finish your story from last week.
No, I'm going to finish it in the middle.
Why?
Because it leads into the next, my song.
Well, as people are hearing this, but not as we're recording this,
Yeah.
I will have just been on a road trip.
On the road again. Me too.
Guess where I'm going?
You're going to see the Trash Pandas.
Trash Pandas, baby. Going
Yeah.
to Rocket City. Yeah. We're going to do it a straight drive.
Okay.
It's like a 12-hour trip.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
It is that bad. Because we're going to have to leave at like 2 in the morning.
I know it's bad, but like when you've done it, you're just like, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Because we're going on the 5th. There's a game on the 5th and the 6th that we're going to. Mm-hmm. And the 5th, we need to get there early because it's bobblehead night.
Yeah.
And we want to get there for the bobblehead. So we're going to leave. I'm going to try to convince Mike to leave maybe like midnight or something. So we can like.
It's too early.
What are you talking about?
I'm yawning.
I have to get there at like 5 o'clock for the game. So
wait, like you're going to leave the game at midnight?
No.
You're going to leave for the game.
For the game at midnight.
Yeah.
That gets us there. If we drove straight through, theoretically gets us there at noon, right? But you got to factor in stops and whatever. So if that gets us there at like 2, wouldn't mind like checking into the hotel or whatever. So we'll see. Mm-hmm. But we're going there and then we're going to stop. We're going to hit up Kentucky on the way back and go to some distilleries.
Cool.
So I'm excited about that. So more to come about that after it happens. And then I'm right into like tech for a musical I'm doing.
How often do you do musicals? Besides your own
one at school? I usually do one a season at Allenbury, Keystone Theatrics. Typically the summer show, one of the summer shows, just because that's when I usually have more time. Mm-hmm. But I've done a couple of spring shows, and I'm doing a spring show in spring of 24 because it kind of falls into the open times that I have. So this season I'm doing 2 shows. I don't think I've done 2 shows a season before, unless I did the year I did Spam-A-Lot, which was a spring show.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I would do more if I had time. I would do all of them if I had time. I like doing shows, especially from my side of it, because I just come in like last minute. You enjoyed your pit playing experience, right?
Yeah.
Was that your first one? Or first one like as an adult?
The first one. Define adult.
Well, like
above 18? Yes.
Yeah, like you weren't in school or in college or whatever. Like you were.
Okay, then no.
So you've done some.
Well, no. I mean, I guess I did one in between. I did Grease for my high school, mm-hmm. but after I graduated high school, and I think
that counts.
It might have been before I was in the code. No.
Is that what got you the gig? You're like, guys.
No, I knew the
guys. Hold on.
Technically, I knew the.
I can play those magic changes like a boss.
No, that's how I got the gig for this. I'm like, I'll do guitar part too. It's really easy. But actually, both guitar parts are pretty easy. So I played Grease for my high school that I went to. Mm-hmm. Years after I went there because I knew the director, mm-hmm. because me and the director went to school together. Mm. And then I got my a coworker, a previous coworker.
What was the name of your high school?
What
was the name of your high school?
Girard High School.
Girard High School. The Fightin'
Yellow Jackets.
Oh, I was gonna guess.
Oh, I didn't know you wanted an answer. Didn't want to answer.
The Girard Yellow Jackets.
Yep.
Interesting.
And the most
Is
famous...
there a meaning behind the Yellow Jackets name?
I don't know. It's a B. Or it's a Yellow Jacket.
Sure.
I don't know. The most famous Yellow Jacket...
Girardian?
No. Mark Balukas.
I don't know who that is.
Did you ever watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
I'm aware of it.
When she goes to college, he is her boyfriend.
Oh,
He was also in a Whoopi Goldberg movie. And he was also in Night and Day with
Tom Cruise
Yes.
and Cameron Diaz.
yeah, he's
Night spelled with a K.
he's the third.
He's the and in Night and
Yes,
Day.
he's the and. if she is night and
he is
Tom
day.
Cruise is day, then Mark Balukas is and. Yeah, he's in that, and then he's been in a couple Kevin Smith films.
Nice.
Anyways, he's the most famous.
I'm disappointed I didn't get to get. I never would have got Yellow Jackets.
Yeah,
Have you watched that show?
Yellow. Oh, like the
show.
I watched the first season.
I haven't watched it at all. I hear it's really, really good.
The first season was pretty cool. I don't have Showtime.
Oh, is that what it's on? Then I'll
Yeah,
have
so
to
I
watch it.
had to watch it. I had to watch it
when you
in
get that
Blu-ray.
like free weekend from
Yeah,
Comcast or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Speaking of shows,
Yeah. Silent.
everybody's got to get on like the FX Hulu train. Like
Okay.
they killer stuff.
Yeah.
Atlanta, Donald Glover
Well,
show,
Yeah.
incredible.
I haven't seen anything.
It's incredible.
But I know it's good.
You got to watch it. Rami
Okay.
with Rami Youssef.
You know,
Great, amazing.
I've never heard of it.
That's really good. There was a fourth one.
You
Oh,
only
Dave.
You only named two.
No,
This
but
is
I
the
have
third.
4 in mind, and I knew what the
Okay.
third one was, but I didn't remember. So
Okay.
Dave,
Yeah.
about Little Dicky,
Yeah.
the rap, like
Yeah.
great show as well.
Mm-hmm.
Only gets better. And then the one I most recently, well, actually, technically, I most recently watched Dave, but the one I just finished that made me think about this was The Bear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
have you seen The Bear?
No.
So good. It's only 2 seasons.
I want to. Okay.
They like just dropped the second season all at once, like a couple weeks ago.
I hate that. And that's kind of one of the issues with the strike.
Except I did kind of binge it though.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of watched it over a couple days. They go quick and like again like just really really well done, like well written, really fascinating, interesting behind the scenes of what it's like to be in like the restaurant world, particularly like in the kitchen and stuff. Like just really really cool, really well done. But those 4 shows all from FX and then also Hulu, they're kind of partnered and whatever, but just really really incredible. I would highly recommend all of those to everybody. So check them out.
Very cool. Yeah.
So you're not going to tell your story yet.
No, in between.
Okay.
Because then it'll lead in.
Cool.
It'll be
My
great.
first.
Yeah.
I don't know where I found out about these folks. Saturdays at Your Place is the name of the band. From Kalamazoo, Michigan.
No, hey, it's a Michigan show.
There we go.
Today's sponsor is
Kalamazoo.
Michigan.
What ECHL team is in Kalamazoo?
I have no idea.
Kalamazoo Wings.
Wangs?
Wings.
Wangs.
This is their bio. You ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Saturdays at Your Place is an alternative emo band from Kalamazoo, Michigan, period. Their sound consists of both heavy and twinkly guitar parts, comma, group vocals, and hard-on-sleeve lyrics, period. That's it. That's the whole thing. That's all she wrote. They've got 20 songs, maybe. They've got an album from, I think, 2021. When did this come out? I can't find it. Oh yeah, 2021. It says LP1 is a combination of ideas and situations we explored as a band throughout the past few years, and then sophomore release coming late 2022. So the song I'm playing for you is from an EP, which just came out this year. So LP2 didn't happen in late 2022. I guess this is maybe that. So this is called Always Cloudy is the name of the EP, and then the song is called Tarot Cards, although they put a little different emphasis or emphasis when they say tarot cards in it. But yeah, and I'm not sure where I found out about these guys, but like I really, really dig their sound. And now, again, another group that I found that I just want them to release more music.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of cool to listen. I went back and listened to that first album, which is good. But it's kind of cool to hear like the progression of their sound in the last couple of years. Like I'm guessing that album was like, it looks sort of like it says like a mismatch of different songs they've been working on. Maybe some of them had been recorded for a bit. So I also tried to get this on vinyl and it's sold out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping they press more. So I reached out to both the band and the record label. I was like, you guys going to make more of these? Because they've both been posting about it, about like, oh, it's sold out. And I was like, I want one. the record label got back to me and they're like, yes, but also we might have some extras after we kind of ship out what we have.
Sometimes they don't, like, the numbers aren't. I see people like, oh, we're sold out, and it's like, oh, I found 5 in my garage.
Right, yeah.
And it's like, how did you not know that you had 5 extras? Or
and
like,
even though they're like limited to 250, like they did 2 different colors of vinyl, and each at 250. So yeah, I was like, cool, keep my eye out. But yeah, you want to play it?
Yeah.
Fifth wave emo.
Is there? Yeah. I like the bass sound.
This is a day of good bass lines. This episode.
Quit sucking up to Rich.
I'm just saying. That was actually a point I wanted to talk about. Can you turn it up a little bit?
She's always telling her stories. She said her friends don't like me. Well, I don't like me too. I get nervous at parties.
These guys are on No Sleep Records, by the way. Just shout out to them.
I'll get to know you. You like my t-shirt, so I'll compliment your shoes.
Here comes the title of the song.
They're pulling out the tarot cards.
Tarot.
It works.
It's not that it's basic, but I just can't take it. I'm just a replacement. Tonight I will be your entertainment. Watch me make it about me. I'm always changing the station.
I like the singer's voice a lot too.
Feels like the end.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not.
Spoiler. Now, on their first LP, on Bandcamp, it's listed the drummer and the bass player are both main vocals, and you can hear the difference between like the 2 singers for sure.
Okay.
This one feels more like it's mostly the one guy. They're also, now their picture is like a 3-piece.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know if it's not the same drummer or it's just went in that direction. I don't know.
I get nervous at parties. Started to hide in a crowded room, but if you get to know me, I'll get to know you. You like my t-shirt, so I'll compliment your shoes. And when the lights go down, and I don't wanna leave this house, it seems so played out. I gotta figure this out, but will you stick around?
Yeah, on their Instagram, it's just 3 of them as well.
I think I found a part of me beside you.
As we record this, also, they're just going out on like a little 2-week tour.
Anywhere near us?
No. Actually, yes. They'll be in Philly on the 1st. So we're recording this on June 29th. And they'll be in Philly on July 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what, Sunday? Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a little... mostly East Coast. So it's Buffalo, Brooklyn, Philly, Pittsburgh, and then like a little Midwest, Louisville, Indy, Milwaukee, Pontiac, Michigan.
Pontiac, nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I really dig them. Again, I want more music because I like all their music. They just don't have... only got a little bit. That's okay. Like these young bands. Dude, there's been a lot of good music coming out the last few weeks. Have you heard the new Origami Angel?
I heard Fear, something.
Like, but they released an album.
It was an album? I heard one. No, what I heard, never mind. I heard this song, sorry, it was somebody else. Never mind. It was, crap, I can't think of the name.
I mean, they had dropped like a couple singles beforehand, so maybe you'd heard that one of those or both of those.
Maybe, I don't know.
So, like, let me just, real quick, Let me pull up my Spotify, because there's just been, like, in the last few weeks, there's been a bunch of stuff, and like some of it, you like miss. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't show you, or you just don't know. Off-Road Minivan, great band. I'm going to talk about them at some point. They dropped a new album. Tyson Motzenbacher, who we talked about last week, he's in a group called Telephone Friends. They just dropped their debut. Abby Holiday just released a Audio Tree Live. That's a band I'm going to talk about. It's an old album, but it's like new to me.
Yeah.
Home Is Where, who we've talked about, they just dropped a new album. Origami Angel dropped a new album. Sammy Ray released a new single like a few weeks ago. Like, it's just been like a bunch of good stuff.
Wow.
So it's exciting.
Wow.
Pine Grove, who we talked about back in May, they dropped a live album. So yeah, anyway, Saturdays at your place. Check them out. Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like them?
Yeah. I dig it. Dig it.
Like, you like fifth wave emo?
Fifth wave. I keep laughing at that. I need to know all the waves.
There's 5 currently in the fifth wave.
Are we? Okay.
One of my students makes that joke with me, because he was in the class the one day when the girl was like talking about Green Day being emo, and I was like, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was also, I think, the same class where I said that they're punk rock, and then my one student, I don't think it was the same conversation, but he was arguing that like punk rock was not rock. I'm like, but it's in the name, like it's a sub-genre. Like, what are you talking about? So anyway, what you got, dude?
I got my buddies in the Suicide Machines.
Yeah.
They're my friends. I dig them.
Cool.
They're cool people.
You gonna tell your rest of your story now?
Well, in a roundabout way.
Okay.
So, my first. So, like, if you don't know, I'm weird.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, the first time that I heard the Suicide Machines was in Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Nice.
So, but that was a song called New Girl.
Mm-hmm.
Because that game had 4 songs. And
Okay.
if you played it enough times, you heard these 4 songs a million times.
Okay.
Imagine if they got paid for every single stream or every single play.
I was just Office Ladies podcast, the one where
Yeah.
it's the 2 ladies from the office, and they go over each episode.
Mm-hmm.
They just did the episode that had the cold open with closing time.
Okay.
Which, do you know what that song's about?
It's about giving birth.
Yeah, it's about his
Child. being born.
child, his wife giving birth, and then also like taking her home from the hospital because she
Yep.
was in the NICU. I thought that was really fascinating. But one of the things that they talk about on that show or on the podcast is like, how much did stuff cost, or like
Yeah.
the rights for these songs, or we couldn't get that song, but they wanted this song, that kind of thing. And so they paid, I think, $25,000 for that song. And they're like, that always seems like a lot of money. But then you think about it, and it's like, how many times have people watched that episode of The Office? Imagine if that guy even got a penny.
Yeah.
He'd have millions just from that. So like, that's like, it just reminded me of that. Like you were
Well,
saying,
when it's
like,
on network TV, you get money, but when it's on streaming, you don't.
I don't think so though. I think that $25,000 covered.
There's a part of it. There's a back end to it.
Okay.
But only for network television or cable television as well.
Right. Because I know there's things like with the writers and like this is whole
Yeah.
part of this.
Like the
strike
the
and
reason
everything,
that the strike has happened, one of the reasons that the strike is happening is because like you could work on a hit show and be set.
yeah,
But if you're on like a hit Netflix show,
yeah.
you ain't set.
Right.
Because there's no
It's almost
residuals.
like back in the day of recording music, they'd pay you $200 to come in and lay down the guitar parts on this Elvis album, which then goes on to make
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, that's
millions and
still
billions. But-
that's still happening.
yeah, but your $200, that's all you get.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's kind of like I think it's kind of the same though with the music rights thing.
Yeah, music
You
rights is pretty.
You get a flat fee,
Interesting.
and then that's it for the most part. But anyway, sorry. So these guys were on Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
They were on Tony Hawk Pro Skater. This song, High Anxiety, was on Tony Hawk Underground 2.
Oh.
I don't know what.
I know this song, but
Yeah.
like I sorry,
Because-
Rich and others. I just Suicide Machines. While I've been aware of them, I have not listened to.
Okay.
I'm now intrigued to listen to more, and I will. But
So like that's where I heard them.
Uh-huh.
But like when I joined the code, I think within our first, like my first tour with them, we played Detroit, and Ryan, their drummer, came out, and I didn't know who he was. If you said the Suicide Machines, I wouldn't know who they were talking about.
Yeah, even though you knew that song. Probably. Yeah.
Like I'm so oblivious to everything. And then we got on tour with them, and like the other guys were like, "This is a big deal." I'm like, "Who are these? I don't know these people." And then so we go flash forward to I think 2003, and we go to we're playing a club, and the club is attached to a bowling alley, and then. I know Rich was a part of this. I don't know who else was, but like they're like, "Hey, we're gonna play some bowling. Come on and join out." So we're playing bowling. First day of tour, like made us feel like family immediately. Them and the other band, which is Against All Authority. So like we became really, really tight. Those three bands, and that's why Mark now manages them because like they're like family to us.
Yeah.
So I've known them since that tour, and. I'm not really. I mean, I'm a fan of theirs, but like they're my friends.
Yeah.
Like I don't think anything. Like they're not rock stars to me. They're my friends.
Yeah. I didn't realize how long. I just Googled like they've been around.
They've been around a long time,
like 30 years over.
Yeah, as long as I've been playing guitar since 91 ish. 91.
Also, I was
91.
Obviously, their name is specific.
It used to be Jack Kevorkian and the Suicide
That's what
Machines.
I just saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they took off the Jack Kevorkian part. Jay Navarro, the lead singer, and then this guy Dan. When I toured with them, those were the only original members. After that tour. Okay, so I should say we became best friends except for one guy, which was Dan.
Okay.
Because then we played a show with them in Erie, Pennsylvania, where I grew up, and I came in. And I'm like, I go to the dressing room, and there's Dan changing strings. I'm like, "Hey," and he's just like, "Hey," and I could tell he did not know who I was. I'm like, "Okay, cool. Hey, Rich, how you doing? Oh man." So I mean. Yeah, big difference between that. And this kind of ties into this song, but we'll get there in a little bit. So the end of the story of Punk in Drublic Day 2 was a better lineup.
Okay.
Was a more stacked lineup. I think people may have gone to the second day and not the first day because of how good the second day was in comparisons to the first day. See if I can pull up what it was. I already forget. I mean, I know like the four bands. I'm trying to figure out the first couple bands because I'm bad at remembering things. Yeah. Okay. So the Last Gang, which was a ska band. I think they're from Detroit. Maybe they're not. Maybe the Last Gang wasn't. I forget. Mustard Plug, which we've played with a bunch of times. They're a ska band from Detroit. Get Dead played. I don't remember what Get Dead played, or what they sounded like.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, great band. And then like the timing where it got really good. Suicide Machines played at 5. They always sound great. They know what they're doing. Jay, lead singer, will actually like go into the audience. I'm like, you should just like, but it was like corded mic, so like there's a guy on stage holding the mic cable.
Yeah,
and I'm like, they should just give him a wireless mic.
Yeah, that happened. I remember on Warped Tour seeing Gallows. Do you know Gallows?
The name sounds familiar.
British, kind of hardcore punk, and the lead singer, just comes out in front of their stage. They didn't have like a ton of people at their thing, but like
got down.
He did most of the set, I think, like from the ground.
There's a trumpet.
I
bet he comes up here.
Probably.
So they played great, sounded great. Jay gets down in the pit as he always does because even if they were at like the level of Foo Fighters, he would still be in the crowd because he's like working class dude. Then the Bouncing Souls played. I wasn't in the... Well, I mean, I was in the band when we toured with the Bouncing Souls, but I wasn't on that tour because it was like I joined and they're like, we have a tour in December or it was like November, December. And I was like, well, I got to finish this semester. Like, let me figure it out. And then I wasn't able to figure it out. So I was like, okay, well, I guess you guys are playing without me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm not quitting. Then the Descendants.
Nice.
Which the cool part about the Descendants that I thought is the drummer of NoFX, he goes by Smelly. He sat and watched their drummer play. And the drummer,
what's the name of the drummer?
Bill Stevenson.
Yeah.
He owns the Blasting Room.
Oh,
which
okay.
is a recording studio in Fort Collins, Colorado.
I knew he was somebody. I just couldn't remember his name.
So he's a producer. I think he was in Black Flag at one point.
That seems right.
I don't really know,
but also he's a very like revered drummer. Besides all the producing stuff and everything, like he's he's
cool. Known.
Yeah,
it looked like he wasn't doing anything. And he was like, and he's just like, whatever, man. This is easy. He wears like over the ear headphones. So the Descendants were great.
Yeah,
I've never seen them before, but it's just like, and then so they played Sunday night, but then on Monday on the Krista Makes a Podcast, they talked about a song that Bill Stevenson wrote for. It's called Clean Sheets. He wrote the song. And he was on the podcast, so they talked to him. And he was talking about, like, I'm not really like a drummer's drummer. And he's kind of like he can figure out any instrument. You give him an hour, and he'll figure something out and play for you, and it'll be pretty decent. But it's really interesting, like his perspective of a bunch of things, and also like how he's grown. Because like Clean Sheets is about his girlfriend cheating on him. But then him thinking about it now is like, I was doing the same thing. Why this is kind of misogynistic in his point of view. But like, if you listen to it, it's like, well, it could be anybody. It's not like it could be a girl, like just because it's sung by a man and written by a man doesn't make it like it's a man's song. So I don't know. That part was really cool. And then NoFX comes out, and yes, yet again had a pee break halfway through, which is, you needed it, kids. You needed it, especially when you're pushing 50, late 50s. I think Fat Mike's the youngest, and he's 56.
Yeah, I was gonna say they'd all be almost 60.
Yeah,
because they've been around for 40 years, right? And even if they started when they were 18.
So I'm pulling up their Wikipedia, but it's really funny because like the Code is mentioned in this.
Oh.
It's like the band played a show with the Code on May 25th, 2018 in Lawrenceville, PA, and announced that they were working on new material and returned to the new record.
That's funny. Did the Code write this?
No, but it's just funny that like we are like in there, which is really, really cool. So past members, which are of note. So there's Dan, who actually wrote the song that we're talking about today, and I'll mention why I know this. Royce was their, I don't think they're definitely not their original bass player, but the bass player right before Rich joined the band.
Okay.
And we played shows with his other band called Blueprint 76.
Okay.
But now he's a lawyer. So interesting. And then their first, let me look at this like line, because I think, where are you, drummers? I wouldn't count that guy. But Derek Grant from Alkaline Trio was their drummer for the first two records. And now Ryan V has been the drummer since then. So all the great ones.
Yeah.
But this is off of a record called A Match and Some Gasoline that was recorded at the Blasting Room in Fort Collins, which I know that Rich was like really excited to go work at.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is the record that I was hearing Jay talk about, but Jay Navarro I know that one of them that they recorded at the Blasting Room was like, this is my favorite record. So I don't know if this is the one because they recorded, I think, the next two at the Blasting Room as well, which is Bill Stevenson's
studio, yeah.
Oh my God. Off topic. So there's near our hotel that we stayed at in Columbus, there was a gas station, and then next to the gas station was a State Farm place, and the guy's name was Bill Stevenson.
Nice.
And I looked at him like, oh, that's cute. But then like on Sunday afterwards, we went to that gas station to like get some snacks because it's late and all we've been doing is drinking alcohol. So it's like time to not drink alcohol. And there were these kids and they were setting up a phone. And I'm like, wait, watch this. And I'm just watching these kids, like I know exactly what they're doing. They're setting up a phone and then they're going to run across and be in front of under the sign that says Bill Stevenson. And then she's like, that's cute.
Yeah. Nice.
So where are we going with this? So high anxiety.
Which, by the way,
Yes.
when I sent you
Yeah.
my 2 tunes, you sent me your 2 tunes first, and then I
Yes.
sent you mine. And you don't usually ask this, but you were like in that order,
Yeah.
like of the order that I sent, which is usually how we do it. We send them in the order
Yes.
that we intend them to.
Because I'm looking for connections sometimes.
Yeah. And I was like,
and not knowing that today's connection is Michigan.
sure, but I didn't understand why you asked that at first.
Okay.
And then I looked at, this week, because we're recording 2 episodes back to back. This week you have a song called High Anxiety, and last week I had a song about panic attacks.
Yeah.
So I thought I was like, oh, that's why he wants.
Yeah,
I mean,
like-
you could have flip-flopped your order.
I could have, but I didn't want to.
Yeah.
So I have the numbers. I'm famous. So I asked Rich, I'm like, hey, do you want me to mention anything in here? And Rich didn't really have anything fun to say. So
Boo, Rich.
yeah, I'm like, hey, oh, that's something different. So I'm like, hey, I'm doing this, or I'm doing this song, and it's like, and he's like, I don't have anything. All I remember is Ryan laughed at my bass line when I demoed it. And he dug it. Ryan's the drummer. So Ryan dug, but it made him laugh. And then he's like, Dan wrote it, so I don't have anything to add. And I'm like, oh wait, Dan wrote it? And I had just texted Jay as well. And I'm like, crap. Maybe that. But then Jay was very, very forthcoming about that. But it's Dan's perspective of Jay had a panic attack, and Dan saw this and wrote a song about it. And apparently Dan did this a lot, where he would write songs about the other members of the band.
Interesting.
And like their problems, because like
Was that his way of deflecting from his own problems?
maybe, possibly,
Or also processing his own. But it's easier to do it through the lens of somebody else, maybe.
yeah. So it's like it's like, oh yeah, man, there's some very mean songs in there, especially about Royce and Derek, which sucks. Which I'm like, yeah, that does. Like, why are you writing mean songs about your friends? Like, they should be helpful. And then wait, where's that song? Maybe that's on the next record. There's another song called Break the Glass, which they play a bunch, which apparently is also about Jay, which I think is kind of like anyways, this song's about having a panic attack.
Okay.
And then when you really listen to it, it's kind of like, yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool. I think that people could listen to it and like be like, that guy knows what I'm going through.
Oh, for sure.
So
Great bass line, by the way.
yes,
Doesn't make me laugh. Makes me smile. It's good. It's a good bass line.
There you go.
How do you categorize these guys?
ska punk.
Okay. Ska without the horns.
I think there's actually, it's the same as what we are, like what the code is, which I
Okay.
think it might be like ska core.
Okay.
I think that's what
Like
they,
this tune especially feels very ska,
yeah.
just minus the horn. It's like Catbite in a way, like. Although they're a little
No,
more surfy,
Catbite is not. Catbite is like more
to the ska side of things.
Yeah, the ska thing.
Maybe I'm just equating the no horns thing, but
Yeah, like you don't need horns to have a ska band.
sure.
God, I need to look this up real quick.
But one of the things I said about the bass line, like I actually, when I was listening to it, I was like, man, that's a good bass line. And I was like, man, ska bass lines
They're the best.
they're up there with some of the best bass lines. You know what I mean? Like funk tunes, you think about bass lines,
yeah.
certain R&B tunes and stuff, but
So
like
yeah.
ska tunes.
So according to Bad Time Records,
Mm-hmm.
because they made a ska core playlist,
Okay.
and we're on it, and I'm like, oh, are we ska core? So we're ska core. So ska hardcore,
Okay.
and Suicide Machines, I think, would fit into that as
Yeah.
well. because like there's some songs that are just like rah!
Yeah.
This is not. This is a very kind of upbeat, more towards the ska than the core.
Yeah.
Well, it's the high anxiety, victim of society, high anxiety.
That's Jay, and then I believe that's Dan.
High anxiety mind. It's my high anxiety getting to the best of me. Sometimes I feel like I'm gonna explode when I'm approaching total overload.
Listen to the bass line, man.
Oh,
It's
I
good.
know.
Good job, Rich.
Victim of society, high anxiety, victim of society, high anxiety mind. It's my high anxiety getting to the best of me.
Rich is a great bass player.
Yeah.
Like he really is.
This time I feel like I'm gonna die. Cold sweat, the fear is paralyzing. You know, I wish that this was over.
I like the little cymbal work and stuff there.
The band is so good.
Yeah. I need to get into them for sure.
Ryan is great. Rich is great. Malik, the new guitar player, is great.
Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night, I don't know why. I can't hold breath. I'm really feeling like I'm on the brink of death. I don't know why. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night, I don't know why. I can't hold breath. I'm really feeling like I'm on the brink of death.
I like this solo.
I wish I could get this crisis under control. Then I could feel some kind of closure. I feel this could go on and on without end. I guess I'll just have to write it out, 'cause it's a high anxiety, victim of society, high anxiety, victim of society, high anxiety mind. It's my high anxiety.
Makes you want to skank.
Yep. Like I'm a Blink-182 rabbit.
In Jenko jeans.
High anxiety mind. It's my high anxiety. Get into the best of me. Get into the best of me.
I dig it.
And then they would probably go into like a really like yeah, because it's all over the place. Like
Yeah.
well, it's not all over the place, but it's definitely from like this type of stuff to to hardcore
Yeah.
things. And this album, A Gas and what is it? A Match and Gasoline and Some Gasoline is like that's like it was like their political. The
Yeah,
first,
I mean, just look at the cover.
yeah. And then the next record, which is actually my favorite,
Okay.
War Profiteering is Killing Us All. The longest song, I'm looking at the times. Yeah, the longest song is 5 minutes, but like the next longest song under that is 2 minutes and 38 seconds. And if you look at this, most of them are a minute something. Like they're all just like really fast. Let me like yell and scream at you.
Yeah.
And that long song is like, I went on tour for 10 years and all I got was this lousy t-shirt. And that was kind of like a like I'm quitting this. Like I can't do this anymore. Song. And a lot of the songs on that record, because it was written after I had met them, I know some of the stories of what they're about.
Oh, okay.
So like, there's a song, I want to say it's this one, Ghost on the Sunset Strip. I was at that show that Jay is talking about. So Jay, there was a guy that came up to him and they were friends back in Detroit. And they're like, oh, hey, how you doing? Like, I haven't seen you in forever. And it's like, yeah, man. And he was like addicted to drugs and living on Skid Row. So it's like, I saw that.
Yeah.
So like, I kind of like the song itself, I know it.
Yeah.
Or at least I think I know it.
Sure.
Maybe I don't know anything.
Yeah.
But a lot of the songs are just like the title of the song
Tells you all you need to know.
tells you all you need to know. Well, it's like, so there's a 17%, 18 to 25. And that's like, why want to think? I forget what it's about now. I can't think.
Seems like a demographic.
It is, but like then the chorus is like 70%, 18 to 25, 70%, 18, and then war profiteering is killing us all. That's the like the hook of the song is just that said over and over again. It's kind of I think we were talking about this last week. The Adolescents. all their songs are like the name of the song
You just say that.
is you just say that over and over again.
Yeah.
So, but those songs are really, really cool. And I remember Rich talking about, so there's a part where it's like on a bass at one point, and then the bass switches to like a Moog.
Okay.
So, and he's like, dude, there's no bass on that. It's all like synths.
The Moog.
Yeah.
The Moger Foger.
Mooger Fooger. Yeah.
Nice.
Anyways, yeah, they were both recorded at the Blasting Room.
Nice.
Wait. So Blasting Room, and then they did Revolution Spring, which was their most recent record, released in 2020 in March.
Yeah.
So the perfect timing to release records. And it was released on Fat Records, and still continues to go down like political, social topics.
Yeah.
Like Flint hostage crisis.
Oh.
The water in Flint.
Yeah. Still.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But we can spend millions finding idiots at the bottom of the ocean. Did you see
Yeah.
they're adding their names to the like Titanic memorial? Fuck
that.
Yeah. I think I shared it, but it was the thing of like, imagine if you went to the 9/11 memorial
And then just kill yourself.
and you fell in like the reflecting pool and drowned, and then they added your name to the thing.
Oh my God.
Like that's basically,
yeah, that's some bullshit right there.
yeah.
So if you like this podcast,
Hey, to end on something non-bad, we've talked about movies sometimes. You saw Across the Spider-Verse?
yeah, I did not see it the second time though.
Okay. Really liked
We
it.
talked about it.
We did. I
2 weeks
couldn't
ago.
remember. Have you seen, you still haven't seen The Flash?
Nope.
Have you seen Transformers Rise of the Beasts?
Yes, I have.
I saw that yesterday. I thought it was pretty good.
I think it is a pretty
For
good
Transformers, like it's
movie. Yeah, for a Transformers movie,
a pretty good one.
it's pretty good.
Did you know, I'm going to say friend of the podcast, meaning somebody that we've talked about on the podcast. Friend of the podcast, Tobey and Wingway,
Okay.
is in it.
He's in it.
He's the guy with the Twizzlers.
Oh, nice.
That's him. Because I kept looking at him. I'm like, this guy looks so familiar, but I can't place
I
it.
love that it's like that's how you describe him, and I know exactly what you're talking about. The guy with the Twizzlers.
Yeah, the guy that tells you all you need to know. I can't remember what his character's name was like. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I saw it in the thing because I was like, oh, who was that guy? Because I was trying to like look at who did some of the voices and stuff too. I didn't hate Pete Davidson as much as I thought I would.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell.
I knew it was him. Like I knew going in that
I
he voiced Mirage, but I was like, oh, I'm gonna hate this, and I didn't. It wasn't the best, but I didn't hate it. But yeah, he was the guy. But I remember now seeing on his Instagram that he was like at the premiere and stuff. But I thought it was just because he had a song,
Yeah.
which he did.
Reek.
There you go. I was like, I knew. I almost wanted to say Smelly, but I was like, no, that's the drummer from NoFX.
Close.
Yeah. But that was him. But anyway, the other thing I liked about that movie was the 90s hip hop soundtrack.
Well, it takes place, so like
No,
they're
I know.
trying to
But
put you
yeah,
into
no, I get
that.
it. No, I know. But I
Yeah.
thought that was cool. But then all of a sudden in that one battle scene, it's like the Tobey and Wingway song, which was like, oh yeah, this is modern, which was cool though. But yeah, I didn't put that together that he was like in the movie.
I didn't realize that until we were there because Caprica wanted to see it and was like, I want to see this movie. He's like, all right, let's go, whatever. Yeah. I didn't realize it was a prequel, and also I didn't realize that it's like, oh, it's the direct prequel or the direct sequel to Bumblebee.
Bumblebee sort of reset the Transformers timeline, and now spoiler alert for Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
I actually knew about that ahead of time. I wasn't planning on seeing it.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure because I was like, I'm sure I'll like it because I generally like those movies. You know, like them enough. You know, like like good popcorn movie, whatever. And so I listened to the Weekly Planet. I listened to them talk about it. Usually, I'll skip over when they talk about a movie that I want to see. Like when they did The Flash, I skipped over it until I saw The Flash because I didn't want anything spoiled or whatever. But I was like, Transformers, like one. I'm sure nothing really that major is going to happen and be spoiled for me, even if I do see it. And two, I don't know if I'm going to see it. And so they had talked about the G.I. Joe thing. And so I knew that was coming. But again, that wasn't that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
crazy, everything.
It's like a post-credit scene.
It was also funny that they like open up into that like hangar and there's like nothing in there. That's what the guys on the Weekly Planet were saying. We're like, what is that? They open up to like nothing. It's like it wasn't empty. It wasn't as empty as they described it. But they were working on like one thing.
Yeah.
And then there were some like computer servers, and then it was just empty.
It. You know what it was?
I was like, was that supposed to be like impressive?
It was the prison, the underwater prison thing from Andor.
What?
Okay, you saw Andor,
Yeah.
yes. So you know like where they're working,
Yeah.
but like there's like an elevator that goes down to the floor.
Yeah.
That's what that was. But they were clearing it out to like make room for G.I. Joe.
Sure. For all their toys.
Yes, for all their toys.
If they're going to do G.I. Joe, by the way,
Yeah.
I want it to be like cartoon accurate.
What does that mean?
Like ridiculous costumes and like not just everybody in like black leather and
But that was the one girl. She was that way.
she can be that, but everybody else I want in like vivid 90s
90s
outfits. Like 90s G.I. Joe accurate outfits.
G.I. Joe is from the 80s, dude.
The cartoon?
The cartoon's from the 80s.
Either way. I want that.
Yeah. When toys made cartoons.
Toys are toys. I will often reference. Well, not anymore because kids don't understand it. But you know the old G.I. Joe toys were like the torso was just like a solid thing, but then like it could rotate like on the hips because there was like a rubber band or whatever. I should find like an old G.I. Joe toy for marching band purposes. Because when kids are marching,
it's the same as old He-Man toys as well.
Yeah.
He-Man did the same
He-Man
thing.
was more plastic though. Like
No, but it's like it still rotates at the waist, and
but
then,
that's what I want
like,
to demonstrate to these kids when they're marching, especially when you're doing like angled marching and stuff, is like your hips have to rotate separate from your upper body.
Yeah.
Or upper body has to rotate separate.
Yeah.
Like they're think of them as like totally disconnected ideas that just happen to be connected in the middle. Like,
let's look for a 7-foot tall G.I. Joe.
No, even just if I had a little one, like I could just like twist and show. And so anyway,
if you like this podcast, please subscribe.
Yeah. And share it.
And share it. Tell your friends. If you really dig it, you could follow us on Instagram. And then if you really, really dig it, you could come join the conversations over at our Discord, which is linked in the description. I love how I'm pointing down, like people can see what I'm doing.
Below.
It's linked below.
Below what?
In the show notes,
Yeah.
depending on where you get it from.
I have an interesting new podcast that I just got into.
Yeah.
It's called Witches of Scotland.
Okay.
And it's one person's a lawyer and one person's like a writer and historian and stuff. And they're basically so they started it in 2020. So I'm like catching up. But their whole mission is to get a public pardon for all of the people who were accused of witchcraft in Scotland.
Okay.
Like the thousands of people, and also have like a public memorial. But then they also talk about like the history, and every episode they.
But if I go there and I drown,
we're trying to get away from the stupidness. But no, it's really interesting. And then they talk to different people who have like different histories and different things and stuff and perspectives. It's really interesting so far. I'm like 10 episodes in. They have like 70, maybe. They don't do it like all the time, but it's fascinating. Also, I like the accent. Cool. Thanks for listening.
Oh, where are you?
Is that it?
That is it. We're
Is
done.
that it?
Bye.
Bye.